Have you ever wondered what Ivy Leagues tells students to get them to come to their college? Because I, my friends, have just found all of the answers. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Random, the only podcast in the world that's a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious loving pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. And if you think that was impressive, first try, baby. But in all seriousness, this is, you can't see it, the thumbnail is not lying to you. I have, through dubious means, obtained a 96-page recruitment pamphlet from Yale. And I was looking through it, as one does, and I found some frankly hilarious stuff in here. When you are done with this video, I hope you walk away with the fact that these people might have come from an Ivy League school, but they are not better than you. They would just think they are. So, if you've ever wondered what Ivy Leagues say, I've got an entire book here to read from. Now, unfortunately, normal video watchers, audio listeners, you don't really care, but video watchers, unfortunately, I will not be showing you the pages themselves. I'm not a vlog channel. I don't want to record with my phone. Also, I don't think my phone could handle recording for this long. So instead, you're going to get the random logo. We can always switch it up to the random logo dark mode, which is a square, because the YouTube podcast has to be in a square for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into reading this. Okay, so we got the title page, and then the first page in, there's a blank one that says A Guide to Yale College. This is an actual book, by the way. The first page, this is Yale. We're glad you asked. So, yeah. So we've got a table of contents. We're gonna go ahead and skip a few pages, skip around, you know. They start off talking about first year diaries, which is they come here and there's like a 10-day orientation. And it's lovingly called Camp Yale. They meet first-year counselors who are seniors, who are friends, mentors, problem solvers, but not disciplinarians. And they will guide them through their transition to life at Yale. And then you have to participate in a Camp Yale program. There's 9 of them. We've got Build, we've got Camp Yale Arts, Cultural Connections, Focus on New Haven, first year outdoor orientation trips, it's called Foot, Harvest, Launch, which is business, not space, orientation for international students, and then my personal favorite, Yale Reserved, is for students who enjoy moments of solitude and time for reflection. Participants develop skills to flourish in college, such as public speaking, self-advocacy, and networking, while practicing rejuvenating wellness activities. So what I'm getting is that these people do yoga while learning how to stand up for themselves, which is a hilarious mental image to me. So if I was in this position, yeah, that would be fun. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's a fun one. So we've got, this is from Sophia. Genesis and I are in a suite of 8 girls. My suite mates are some of my best friends at Yale. Everyone is from a different place. New York, Texas, India, England, and Costa Rica. It was such an awesome mix of people to me as soon as I started at Yale. Yale thought this was such an important quote that they added it in a 96-page book to tell students to come there, which is interesting. They don't have dormitories. Instead, they have residential colleges, which imagine you're a census worker and you're taking the population of the entire country of the United States. But now pretend you're taking the entire population of Yale. Now you're going to take a small portion of each group and you're going to just smush them into a college without rhyme or reason. And that's what residential colleges are. But here's the thing. A truly little known fact is that while students always have the option of switching colleges throughout their years at Yale, scant few do. Read the over-the-top boostering by members of each college in the first year welcome issue of the Yale Daily News, and you'll understand why they all think they're the best. But don't take it from me, folks. These people identify with their college throughout their lives, meeting one another in far-off places, not only as an Eli, but as a Sabrugian, Sillymander, or Morsel as well. This is the part I wanted to show you. We're coming up to it. It's right here. If you don't see anything else in this episode, I want you to see this page coming up because it's absurd. Where is it? Here it is. Page 20 in the Lives section. Decoding the college's residential college rundown. So you've got a college. You've got their shield. I'll be glossing over shield. Y'all can't see it anyways. Architecture. Style points. And then get this. How we boola boola. How can any... I don't think anyone in my audience is a Yale person. But if you could please explain to me what boola boola means, I would really appreciate it. Yeah. It's awful. It's awful. Some of these are so funny. Such as Davenport, aka Deport. Deport! Oh my god. I can't believe Yale is deporting people. That's terrible. Style points. We have the gnome, who watches over us when he's not being abducted. And then they boola boola by take your professor to dinner nights. So, yeah. Now, if you were wondering, what on earth is a Sillymander? Because I was also wondering that. There's a college called Sillyman College that has a varied architecture. Collegiate Gothic, maybe some modified French Renaissance, and Georgian, of course. Though I can't tell if this is the state or the country. I don't think it's either. Style points. It's the biggest college, the biggest courtyard, and it has a handbell group called the Silly Ringers. Oh my goodness. So they boola boola by Silly Fest, a year-end carnival. That's what Silly Fest is. The Acorn, a sustainable cafe. Silly Gloose in the courtyard. Whatever that is. Now I'm going to mention this college for later because there's going to be a part where it comes important. Ezra Styles, this is a college. It's because they started calling each other Stylesians, and I was like, why are they saying, what is a Styles? This is what they mean. It's a college. The architecture architecture of Ezra Stiles is a modern masterpiece designed by Eero Saarinen, opened in 1962. Uh, they get style points for having a a memorial moose mascot in the dining hall, and an annual student film festival. And they bula bula by Medieval Night Festival, Sidewalk Parisian Bistro in the spring. In the spring. Let me make that clear. It does not have two Z's, but it is Parisian Bistro in the spring. But finally, moment of truth. Pearson College. It is Georgian architecture, built in 1933. Style points. They have a traditional letterpress print shop with 6 presses and 1,000 cases of hand type. And then you learn how they bula bula. You've got Tuesday nightclub. Who cares about a nightclub? I don't. No. What I care about is the Pearson College cheer. Because yes, these colleges have a cheer for some reason, and Pearson Colleges is... Give me a second. I've got to be a cheerleader. I've never been a cheerleader before. P is for the P in Pearson College. I is for the I in Pearson College. Now it just stops there, but presumably it goes on forever. E is the E in Pearson College. R is for the R in Pearson College. Pi is for the Pi in Pearson College. I'm just like, I'm now just wondering, do you go through the entire thing? Like, let's talk here, folks. Do they go through the entire thing? Do they just sit over here and say, C is for the C in Pearson College? O is for the O in Pearson College. The football game has already finished, and Pearson College over here is still chanting their cheer from the opening. I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You think Yale people are smart? They came up with that cheer for Pearson College. I think they're just regular humans. Here's a funny title. More Than Oolong, College Teas. This is just let's see. They're just Q&As, and there are guest speakers that come. And that's pretty cool. And the only one I recognized was Lois Lowry, who wrote The Giver. Oh, and also Two Set Violin, comedy music duo and YouTube sensation. So, YouTubers are making their way over to Yale. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, yes. As I take a water break, we're going to get to bright college years. And the point of that one is, you know the guy who said that you take 2 people in the world and you can get probably around 5 friends of friends, and eventually you could get from A to B if you went the right direction. Yeah, well, he went to Yale, and they're making a big deal about it because they're so interconnected. And so the gimmick here is doing friends of friends to get from Richard all the way over to Alexis. But we're going to skip a lot of this. We're going to get to Jeffrey, who is part of Styles' music box. So there's some music group from Ezra Styles College. Yeah. This poor guy got character assassinated by Yale. If you thought Yale was just this harmless Ivy League college, no. They character assassinate like crazy. Check this out. Jeffrey meets Noma in the shared bathroom in their hallway. Jeffrey says, I always heard Noma singing in the bathroom, and we became friends after I told him I had the same musical taste. How did they get this out of Jeffrey? Seriously, what? Yale, you are diabolical for this. Completely ratting out this person that they met somebody in the bathroom and became friends. Oh my goodness. Oh my. This was what started the idea for the second episode of Random, by the way. That and how we boola boola. Because that's genuinely the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Okay. Breaking news, and this is just a bunch of undergraduates who are cool. Um, there is actually a section called Bula Bula, but it does not tell you what Bula Bula means. It just tells you that a bunch of Yale students were good at sports. Anyways, let's get to some of the fun parts. The latest stats on who goes to Yale. That's going to be interesting, right? Okay, so it says enrolled 1,647 are class of 2027. I don't really know what that means or why it's relevant because it's not just 1 year of college people. But they represent 53 states and territories and 68 countries. 48% are male, 51% are female, and if you thought they couldn't math, that's because the last percent is non-binary. 59% of students identify as students of color. There's 16% that are international. 21% of them will be the first in their family to graduate from a 4-year college or university, which has got to be the most insane thing I've ever heard. You're telling me 1 in 5 students at Yale are the first kids to ever graduate college in their family. And they're starting with Yale, which is an Ivy League? And there's 1 in 5 of these people. They are not rare. This is commonplace. I'm just blown away by how many random smart people there are that have just never been to college because they couldn't afford it for whatever reason. 63% came from public schools. 37% came from private or parochial schools. 55% receive a need-based Yale scholarship. Who cares? Who cares if 22% are Pell Grant recipients? Here's an interesting one, because it is not the flex Yale thinks it is. 97% of students are going to Yale are ranked in the top 10th of high school graduating class. Which, it does not tell me what I think Yale was trying. I think Yale was trying to say, we have so many smart people who are in the top 10th their high school class, which in some places is extremely easy, but in others I know is brutal. It depends on where you live. But you know what it tells me? It tells me that 3% of the students are trust fund babies. I'm just saying it how it is here. Yale is literally one of the top schools in the entire country. If you're not in the top 10th, you're probably a trust fund baby. You're probably wanting your money so that they can keep this going. So then we have a bunch of stats on what you're majoring in. 95% of them graduate within 6 years, which means only 5% of them, assuming this is all undergrads, only 5% of them are actually going for a doctorate, which is an extremely low amount, I think. It sounds like a really low amount. 59% have jobs on campus. 66% participate in community service. 80% participate in some form of athletics. And 70% of recent graduates report their intention to pursue an advanced degree within 5 years, but only 18% began an advanced degree immediately after graduation. That's crazy. They all go to Yale, and then they're like, gap year, gap year. Oh dear. And then there's we're at the studies chapter. Whether they major in the social sciences, humanities, arts, STEM, Yale students graduate with a thirst for learning, a greater appreciation for creativity, and a respect for education that they bring to positions of leadership and civic life. That came from the president of Yale University themselves, Peter. So now we get into a process known as blue booking, where basically they pick classes as if they are trying to order off an extremely large menu. They just go to classes, show up, and then they're like, I want this class, I don't want this class. So let's see, where does it say how many classes they had? With more than 1,000 courses offered each semester, selecting just 4 or 5 is a challenge. So yeah, so it goes to a person trying to do all of this. And they just keep talking. Okay, we've gone to another good page. This is pages 34 and 35. So we've got 80 plus majors, a 6-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and then 2-to-1 ratio of declared STEM majors to STEM faculty. So a lot of STEM people. 115 first-year seminars, each open only to 15 or 20 first years. I don't exactly know what a first-year seminar is. I kind of skipped that page. 3 plus 3 equals breadth. Ma'am, I thought it equaled 6, but I guess it doesn't in Yale. Okay, let's read what it actually says. There is no specific class you have to take at Yale, but students are required to learn broadly and deeply. Depth is covered in one's major. Breadth is covered by taking courses in 3 study areas, which are humanities and arts, science, and then social science. And then 3 skill areas, which is writing, quantitative reasoning, that's math, and then foreign language. So that's what they mean. So breadth equals 6, guys. 1-to-1 classes range from one-on-one tutorials to a small seminar to a lecture course of several hundred students. 79% of courses enroll fewer than 20 students. 35% enroll fewer than 10. And only 40 out of 2,000 plus courses enroll over 100 students. Which means you're probably taking one of those 40. There are 1,000 members of the arts and sciences, 65 languages taught at Yale, from Akkadian to isiZulu. I apologize if I misspelled it. There's a lot of stats here. 36-8. The degree requirements for graduation are 36-term courses in 8 terms, about a third of the major. Students typically take 4 or 5 courses per term. Is a term a semester for these people? I guess it is. Yeah. If it's 8 terms, then a term is a semester. $15 million plus holdings in Yale's library. So a lot of library. Now we get to the majors, and there's plenty of them. But what I really want to take account of is the fact that there's one course here that may be taken only as a second major. I see that as a bomb. because I saw an asterisk. I was like, oh, that's neat. The asterisk only applies to a single major in the entire majors in Yale College. And you want to know what it is? South Asian Studies. Just that one only. And to get how ridiculous this is, some of the majors you can take as one major and not have to double major. You can take Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, Judaic Studies, Special Divisional Major, and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies. And I think the most incriminating of them all, East Asian Studies. You can take East Asian Studies as your one major, but no, South Asian Studies, you have to double major. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I cannot believe an Ivy League college is doing this. Seriously. Why is it just South Asian Studies? You couldn't have done any other majors like this. You had to single out South Asian Studies. That's wild. Over here, East Asia gets East Asian Languages and Literatures as a major, or East Asian Studies as a major, and both of them can be taken by themselves. Meanwhile, poor old South Asia is over here forced to be stuck as a double major, and forget it if you're Southeast Asian, because then you don't have it at all. This is... Oh, and you can have Russian as a major. Lovely. Wait, Judaic studies and religious studies aren't the same major. Moving on. Oh my gosh. So, college meets university. I'm gonna skip over this page because it's normal. It's pretty cool. And here, except for this part, the School of Medicine, because you can apply to do field work in Peru with your biochem professor and perhaps discover new species of fungi and bacteria living in plant tissues, which honestly just sounds like the coolest thing ever. Not only are you going to Peru for a vacation, but you're also collecting never before seen samples of fungi and bacteria. That's crazy. So then we go talking with professors. They give them pretty softball questions, honestly. Like this one. People here always say Yale is devoted to undergraduate teaching. How can this be true? These questions sound like commercial questions. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. A 96-page commercial to get someone to go to Yale. And you have to remember that this book is trying to get somebody to go to Yale. So even while we are over here laughing at it for talking about how they bula bula and how people are meeting people in the community bathrooms, this was synthesized for the express purpose to try and get somebody to go. And instead, I am wasting that purpose and making fun of it for podcast content. So, yeah, I will allow you to feel a little bad. Okay, here's one. Why does teaching these students in particular matter to you? If you can find smart, hardworking students at other places, then what makes these students a drawing card? Now, that's actually a pretty good question. And I'm going to mention one guy. I'll keep him by his, which one's easier to find? I'm going to call him by his first name, which, professors don't really like that, but it's for his privacy, because it's easier to find a person via a last name than a first name, especially when his first name is Scott. So we're going to call him Professor Scott. This is the biochem professor that the thing was talking about earlier. Look at this. Last year, over spring break, we took a group of students to study a rainforest in Peru. Each was given complete autonomy over identifying 15 to 20 plant samples they wanted to collect. They brought them back to the lab and did amazing things with them. On the whole, they discovered several dozen new species of fungi, many of which have demonstrated bioactivity against pathogens in plants and humans. That is science speak. That means it's killing diseases. It's doing stuff to diseases. These people just randomly went to Peru and found species of plants in a rainforest that deal with diseases. Oh yeah, and he then mentions afterwards, here, when I described their work to School of Medicine faculty, the faculty lined up to participate in the project with these undergraduates. Straight up, people straight out of college are finding potentially beneficial to humans plants in Peru. That's insane, okay? Okay, a lot of this is going to be dogging on Yale because it's hilarious that they would put how people meet each other in the bathroom in a promotional pamphlet. But I'm going to give this one professor credit here. Professor Scott over here. He deserves your praise because that is genuinely the coolest thing I've ever heard. So we're going to keep going because we're halfway to an hour and we are not halfway through the book. I'm at like page 40 something. Let's see, where are some art questions? Just like students looking at colleges, as a professor, you had a lot of choices too. What brought you here? Let's see. Who should we talk about? Give me a moment. I'll find something interesting. Let's see. Okay. This guy says, I came for the students. They're not just smart, but well balanced in a way that makes it special to teach and do research here. Whether I stand before a classroom full of students or meet with someone one-on-one, I try to teach each student as somebody who is going to do something very meaningful and influential in life. Our alumni bear that out. This is what energizes me in the classroom. If something I teach lingers with students so that it helps them do the right thing outside the classroom, that's my reward. Which is great, but that didn't really explain why he went here. It said the students were great, of course, but like I imagine the same caliber of students can be found at literally every other Ivy League. So this anonymous professor is very adept at dodging questions. Congratulations. Ooh, a hands-on education and why 6 hands are better than 2. Hear that? People, 6 hands are better than 2. Grow 4 arms. Do it now. Okay. Oh, I remember this. This was fun. Yale celebrates innovation, not intervention. Hello, we are intervening. You need 4 more arms. Get 6 hands. They are better than 2. Okay. Yale celebrates innovation and the entrepreneurial spirit, whether you are working on a problem set in your flipped chemistry class, meeting with a writing tutor to discuss topic sentences and supporting quotes for a history paper. They have not. They still need the whole high school. What's a topic sentence? That's not good. Studying the language of color and the articulation of space in introductory to painting. Oh wait, it says introductory painting. Or collaborating with classmates on the design and construction of an engineered system for a Yale client at the Center for Engineering Innovation and Design. You will find that teaching and learning here is, it should be R, I guess. But it feels like it should be is. Are evidence-based, hands-on, and focused on inspiring a deeper engagement with the subject. So, That's another funny thing. This is common to all colleges. Is they will be extremely specific. They're like, whether you are doing this, that, or creating a or collaborating with classmates on the design and construction of an engineered system for a Yale client at the Center for Engineering Innovation and Design. It's like the ending one is always the most weirdly specific one possible. And I said the whole blurb thing because we're about to get to something very fun. If I can find it. Oh, look, independent research. Dang it, where is that guy? We will come back to who I'm thinking of. Get ready. Foreshadowing, because there was somebody who made caffeinated energy bars and are now like millionaires or something. So they're going to talk about them. But we're going to keep going. They have. Oh my goodness, what is that? Hold on. I need to look at this. Ooh. Because y'all can't see it, but this guy's got like a where is it? It's like uh it's really long. It's got such long strings. I've never seen how long these strings are. It's crazy. If only I could figure out what the instrument was called. It's like a not a banjo, mandarin. Mandarin? Is that mandolin? That's what it is. Mandolin. Okay, it's probably that. It's extremely long stringed, circular bass. Think Yale. Think world. Random title. We're just gonna skip through these people and say where they went to. Andrew, Spain, United Kingdom. Sarah, South Africa, Swaziland, and France. Let's see. Jenna, Jordan. Adrian, South Korea. Grace, India, South Africa, and Brazil. Oh, and then we've got connecting dots. Here it is. Here it is. Oh my gosh. These two became they went in for molecular biophysics and biochemistry. They came out entrepreneurs for an energy bar company. So what they did is they created Yale Launch, which helps people become a uh, let's see. These two are Matt and Dylan, and they created Yale Launch, which was basically a group that comes up with business pitches. And Matt, Matt, but not Dylan, I guess, comes up with an idea called verb energy bars. Once you eat one, you will be jolted awake. See, there's the verb, jolted. So now comes along Andre and Bennett, and so I guess Dylan is like not into this anymore. Rip Dylan. He's gone now. So Matt hands Ryan. Who is Ryan? Oh, a Yale alumni. Okay. And then they create a verb bar. And they make it in the student kitchen. And then they pitch the idea to an alumnus. And so that guy gives them money and they create an actual business. And they sell to college students and they sell out all of their chocolate bars or energy bar. What are they? Coffee and granola bar, I guess. They sell out all of those in 30 days. And then they go to a 10-week fellowship program to get a 15,000 grant and mentoring. And now he's got $1 million in seed capital. Matt and Andre, who I don't know what happened to poor Dylan and Bennett, but I guess they're no longer part of her. Womp womp. So that was a fun story, I think. I can't believe that there is an energy bar out there called Verb and that it's killing the market. That's ridiculous. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Here's a former president of Yale University. Yale, like Ulysses, is part of all that she has met, part of all the scholars and students who have trod paths of learning across her campus, of their ideals and accomplishments, and of their lives and times. Wow, way to tell me nothing about Yale. Flowery language can't fool me. Oh. Why architecture matters. That's, yeah, I don't really care about architecture. Sorry. Let's keep on going, because, yeah. Oh, yeah, and it's in Connecticut. So, if y'all hate Connecticut, sorry, you can't go to Yale anymore. They call New Haven the greatest small city in America. I can't imagine that's the case, but, and they just talk about what you've got there. A pizza? A beats? Pronounced a beats. What the? Okay. Sorry, I've got a complaint here. Connecticut, what are you doing? Okay, let me explain. On page 71 of this book, yes, we have gone through 71 pages already, because I have been skipping around. Eating out, the #1 foodie city in America, as ranked by livability.com, which is definitely an expert on the subject of #1 foodie city in America. That's crazy. Anyways, I got sidetracked. There's a place called, oh, no. It is New Haven style pizza, which is a beats, except it's spelled as a pizza. It's literally spelled Apizza. And these people are out here saying it's a beats. That does not sound like a pizza. It's a pizza. The word is a pizza. Stop calling it a beats. That's silly. I'm not actually gonna talk trash about their pizza, because if they're anything like New York, they're gonna kill me. But my goodness, wow. I will complain about their spelling. This is unforgivable, Connecticut. And then they talk about Louis' lunch, coffee, or coffee spelled with a K, where you can catch the jitterbus. A mobile coffee shop built out of an old school bus. You cannot make this. This is an actual selling point from Yale. The jitterbus. I can't. Colleges are silly. They're ridiculous. They're cringe. Sweet Tooth, Maury's, a la carte, and that's not actually a place. It's just talking about food carts. Here, there, everywhere. Let's see how many countries we can name. There's, how many people is this? 14 people, I believe. 14. There's 14 people. Let me go through all of these countries. This is where they're from and then where they're going. Zimbabwe, and then they're going to Italy, Kenya, Ghana, and Zimbabwe. This guy's from Ohio. Oh, he's already visited Argentina, Chile, Iceland, Morocco, South Africa, and United Arab Emirates. And then they're going to China, Burma, Singapore, and Thailand. Okay, next up, Los Angeles. She's traveled to Spain and Ghana and Cuba. New York City, and then she went to Geneva, Switzerland. Washington, he went to Spain. Washington, D.C., she went to Nepal, Jordan, Chile, and Morocco. This guy is gotten out of North Carolina and has now gone to Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Taiwan, Israel, Puerto Rico, and now he's going to South Africa. We've got another Californian who's going to South Korea and is studying at Oxford in England. This guy is from South Carolina, who also lived in Washington, D.C., and now he's going to the Netherlands. There's a guy from Albuquerque studying in India, going to China, and then also Japan, Taiwan, and Korea. Sao Paulo, and she's lived in Venezuela and Panama, but then came over to Cincinnati, of course, and now she's at Brazil. Another Californian, this time from Palo Alto, and she will be spending 6 weeks in Nice, which is in France. There's a guy from Ghana, and he went to Brazil. And then finally, from Braintree, Massachusetts, this girl will be going to China, Morocco, and then the Netherlands. So, surprisingly enough, I think Netherlands was the one that was mentioned the most. Or maybe Brazil. South Africa was mentioned a lot too. Ooh. This is from Yale, A Short History by George W. Pearson. Probably the guy who got named, Pearson College got named after. This poor guy, they will now be listening to his own students chanting, P is for Pearson College. I is for the I in Pearson College. And the youthful society thus formed had promptly and enthusiastically set to work to create its own system of self-improvement, a second or social curriculum. Oh, this is pursuits. So like clubs. Oh shoot, I forgot about page 76. Okay. Brace yourselves for Bulldog, Bow Wow, Wow. I can't. First it was Bula Bula, and now it's Bow Wow Wow. So this is just the athletic stuff. On page 77, they mentioned the game, which is one of the most anticipated events every year, and the game I always lose. I'm just so mad. Every time. Comment down below if you lost it as well. Oh my goodness. Handsome Dan, which is the first mascot ever. And apparently, no mascot is better known than Handsome Dan. Which is not true. I've never heard of Handsome Dan in my life. So they just talk about how great they are. How there's teams and sports. Kendo is a sport. Taekwondo, they've got that as a sport. They even have wushu, which is a type of martial art I've never heard of before. At least I assume it's a martial art because it sounds like one. We've got arts, which is cool, I guess. The Daily Show. Oh, they're just going through all of the art programs. This is art, dance, music, singing, theater. There's so many. It's wild. There's only 2 film, And the only fashion place is Y Fashion House. So, spoken word, that's interesting. We've got a bunch of unique ones. Ambient Sound Society. Aerial and Circus Arts. Maybe I should just read all the unique ones. Aerial and Circus Arts Collective. Ambient Sound Society. Chocolate and Confectionery Artisans. Ink and Vellum. Undergraduate Architecture Society. Maison de Beauté, which sounds like a fashion place, but I guess it's not. The Whistleproofs. Yale Anti-Gravity Society, which is the silliest thing I've ever seen. They're probably who created the Upside Down House, if I had to guess. Yale Magic Society, Y Papa, Yale Students in Immersive Media, and more. Okay, we got the Science Channel, which is a bunch of science groups. Yale Funbotics, Yale iGEM team. Let's see, Y Hack, She Code. That's cool. I like that. Let's see. Anything else? Green. That's one. Okay, so there's Y Hack and then there's Hack Yale Student Group. They're probably rivals. Let's see. User Experience Society. That's awful. That's awful. Y Bio Incubator. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Okay, let's see. Shared communities. They have cultural houses. That's interesting. Let's see. What else is there? Okay, we've got a bunch of churches. And then we also have an Office of LGBT Resources, which is pretty cool. Here's the only one I'll think is funny. Okay, there's closet clothing swap, but the fun part is that closet is spelled Qloset. So it's closet, but the C is a Q, which is very fancy. Let's see. So they love for you to belong at Yale. Typical college stuff, you know. Let's see. Is this interesting? It's leadership stuff. There's probably cool stuff for it, but I want to get to this part. This is like the last section I really need to talk about. It's basically the last page, because the rest of it is just applying stuff, you know, because it's a recruitment book, not a book for fun. We have finally gotten to the student voice, overheard at Yale, politics and publications. Well, I must first turn back to a previous page because I forgot about it, because I skipped it to try and get to the residential college thing. Debate this. Pearson Dining Hall conversations in progress. So here we are. This is the only one I'm going to talk about because I think it's hilarious. But this is definitely a conversation you'd have at a dining hall lunch. Megan Latta and Ethan are comparing their research experiences and debating the ethics of informing human research subjects about how their data might be used and shared. Ethan relates the issue to our expectations of privacy on social media platforms. Basically, what Yale is saying is we have speech and debate club. I don't make the rules. The speech and debate club kids do. I've been around them. I know what they're like. They were both in speech and debate, and they still haven't accepted that no college does that. So they are now talking with each other to make themselves feel better, I guess. Political advocacy organizations. I don't want to get too into this because politics is not something I want to talk about. But I did think it was funny that there is that there's so many parties. Like, what I mean is there's so many political groups that's like, how are these different from each other? Because let me show you. We've got Yale College Democrats, the Progressive Party, the Party of the Left, the Democratic Socialists, yeah, Yale undergraduate Young Democratic Socialists, and then the Yale Socialist Party. And it's just like, okay, I get the difference between college Democrats and socialists, but like, seriously, is there really a difference between Party of the Left and the Progressive Party? Really? I don't think you right wingers are getting out of this. You may not be snowflakes, but you're still snowflakes. Um, you've got the Conservative Party, the Federalist Party, and where was the other one? Oh my gosh. Oh, and then there's Yale College Republicans, the Conservative Party, the Federalist Party, which I'm pretty sure is just a a money organization, like a conservative think tank. And then we have the Tory Party. What is the Tory Party doing here? You don't see the Whig Party. Why are the Tories here? Genuinely, I thought we got rid of them in the American Revolution. This is crazy. Um. Oh, and then there's the absolute paradox known as Yale in the Independent Party. There is no such thing as an independent party. The independent party is not a thing. When a person runs independent, they're not running as an independent party. That's not a party. That means they're not running Democrat or Republican. How? This is Yale. These are the brightest, very bright minds academically, and yet they think independent party is a party. Anyways, let's get out of politics before somebody gets angry at me. And let's move on to publications, where we have such incredible works such as Rumpus, Light and Truth, The Logos, The Yale Layer, The Bula. What is a Bula? Somebody tell me what a Bula is right now, or I will haze every single one of you at the next frat party. I'm joking, okay? I don't think there's a frat party. But seriously, what is a Bula? Oh, and then there's Hippopotamus Literary Magazine. Definitely not competing with uh, Yale Literary Magazine and the Yale Literary Review. Oh my gosh. And they have a Global Health Review, a Globalist, a Herald, a Historical Review, a Journal of Behavioral Economics, and a Journal of Human Rights, and a Journal of Medicine and Law. What I'm saying is there's so many of these. Literally, I am shocked at how much there is. How were they able to talk 96 pages about their college? It's an Ivy League Yale. What could they possibly have that is 96 pages long? Anyways, the last ones are how to apply, and then and the typical Ivy League. Oh, we're not a financial burden. Please come to us. Don't look at the cost. The cost they're estimating is $87,000 a year. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, they actually do give a lot of financial aid. So it's a little disingenuous for me to just come here and be like, hey, look, it's $87,000 and not mention that they have financial aid. I'm just sick of all the Ivy Leagues being like, we know what you're thinking, but we're not actually that expensive. Please don't write us off. It's just funny. Okay, it's funny to me. So we have finally made it through the 96-page Yale book, and I have finally made it to the 1 hour mark. So I think this is a great place to stop the random podcast for today. Key takeaways, everybody. Bula is a word. Bula bula is also a word. If you go to Yale, please meet all of your friends in the community bathrooms by listening to them sing in the shower. And finally, go discover more plants in the rainforest of Peru with your biochem professor. That is going to be all for today's episode of Random. I will see you all next time. Let's see if I can actually make it in a week. Who knows?